Watch him approach. The vehicle swerved repeatedly, tires drifting aggressively onto the paved shoulder of the highway. A solitary travel bag sat on the rear seat. Approaching the window, I introduced myself as Trooper Love with the Highway Patrol, explaining that the traffic stop was initiated because his vehicle could not maintain its lane. When questioned about ownership, the nervous driver claimed he was heading home from a California vacation. I pressed further about the vehicle, and he admitted it was merely a rented ride, asking how long he had been traveling. He claimed it was just a 2-day trip. He confirmed his Kansas residency and admitted to signing the rental agreement himself. I probed further, asking about his initial travel arrangements. He claimed he bought an airline ticket to the coast but chose to drive all the way back just to take in the views. I took his identification, promising a quick background check. My instincts immediately flared. A single-direction rental agreement for a remarkably brief getaway, combined with his absurd excuse of sightseeing while navigating an interstate highway at 11 o'clock at night. Pitch-black skies offer zero sightseeing opportunities. It was time to bring out my valiant canine partner, relying on his expert nose to sniff out any illicit substances hidden within the cabin. Dago, our courageous and heroic service dog, went straight to work, displaying intense positive indications all over the rear cargo area. The brilliant canine repeatedly targeted the rear deck, locking onto the scent. I firmly ordered the suspect to exit the driver's seat immediately. I informed the suspect that my highly trained canine partner had positively identified the distinct aroma of illegal drugs radiating from the automobile. Confronted with the dog's flawless detection, I asked if he was transporting contraband. He feigned ignorance, muttering a weak denial. I declared my intention to execute a full, comprehensive sweep of the cabin and trunk. The suspect feigned confusion, stammering and playing dumb. I quickly shut down his act, explaining that my dog's expert alert provided unassailable legal justification to dismantle his car under Utah law. For safety protocols, I instructed the apprehensive man to wait inside my fortified patrol cruiser while we began the teardown. His tough exterior crumbled instantly. He let out a heavy sigh, realizing the game was over, and muttered that he was in massive trouble. Knowing the trunk was packed tight with illegal cargo, I commanded him to present his wrists for immediate detainment. Once secured, I placed him safely in the back of my unit, preparing to tear into the suspect's vehicle to reveal what my brave dog had found. Popping the trunk revealed massive canvas bags reeking of illegal greenery, tightly bound in heavy plastic to mask the potent stench. Smugglers typically wrap these illicit shipments meticulously, weighing each brick out to precisely 1 pound as closely as possible. It is a calculated, criminal precision designed for maximum street profit. 34 massive packages. At that point, the reality was undeniable. I formally placed the trafficker in custody for felony drug transportation. I laid out his immediate future, explaining that we were headed straight to the precinct for processing. Thanks to Dago's impeccable heroics, our lawful sweep successfully removed roughly 34 pounds of raw, illegal narcotics from the streets. We secured the sole suspect for transport and deep investigation. Before the doors closed, he pleaded for one minor favor. Desperate for a smoke break, the 30-year-old confessed that crushing financial debts had pushed him into this reckless criminal enterprise. He was chasing fast cash to survive. Maintaining professional empathy, I reminded him that his cooperative attitude would be reciprocated during this grim situation. Compliance earns basic respect, so I allowed him that final smoke. Shifting focus to another hazard, we initiated a stop on an approaching vehicle missing a crucial front illuminator. Checking the registration tags first. Verifying the plates ensures officer safety before approaching. Walking up to the driver's window, I firmly announced my presence. I informed him about the dead bulb, which sent the driver into an immediate panicked frenzy. I ordered him to remain seated as he claimed absolute ignorance of the defect. Keeping the tone calm but authoritative, I requested his state-issued identification card. He fumbled around, realizing his wallet was buried in a spot that required unlatching the heavy metal door. The man was visibly shaking, complaining about his desperate financial situation. I quickly de-escalated the tension, assuring him that a citation was not on my agenda. He frantically explained that he had just pieced the broken-down vehicle together. I instructed the highly anxious man to relax in his seat, while I processed the interaction, promising a swift resolution to the encounter. He continued making frantic excuses about the electrical issue, his stress levels dangerously elevated over a minor mechanical failure. I reiterated that he was not getting fined. My only goal was to verify his driving privileges and ensure public safety. Before letting him continue his journey, I commanded him to stand by with my backup officer while I moved to my cruiser. A rapid background sweep was in order. Returning to the suspect, I maintained my strict tactical awareness. The database flagged a concealed carry permit. A hidden firearm changes the entire dynamic. I immediately questioned him about the weapon's location. He admitted it was stashed right inside the dashboard compartment. By law, that lethal information must be disclosed the second a badge hits your window. He spewed frantic apologies, swearing he had never faced this scenario before. As a permitted owner, concealing that fact during a traffic stop is a massive, potentially fatal error. I ordered him out of the vehicle immediately. Escorting him toward the flashing lights of my cruiser, I secured him in the back seat to safely untangle the volatile situation. All right, I'm seeing a massive stack of bills stashed away. Care to explain the heavy pockets? The driver stammered defensively, insisting over and over that the funds were simply meant for his landlord. Right. But resting those bills directly on top of your protection? That paints a pretty shady picture, the officer countered, his voice steady. The suspect weakly replied that he hoped it wouldn't be an issue, though deep down he knew it was a major red flag. $3,000 in cold hard currency is no joke. The patrolman pressed the issue, asking for permission to sweep the cabin just to ensure there were no other nasty surprises hidden away, while the driver immediately deflected, demanding to know what else could possibly be inside. Any additional firepower or undocumented items hiding from us? The cop pressed. The nervous motorist swore up and down that the single piece of iron was his only one, prompting the officer to push again for a consensual sweep of the interior. The goal was simple and straightforward. Get eyes on the inside to confirm absolutely no extra hardware was tucked under the seats or shoved into the compartments. Look, you conveniently forgot to mention the first piece of hardware, the lawman stated firmly. That omission alone makes my radar go off, making me seriously wonder what else you're keeping under wraps. The implication hung heavy in the air, yet the suspect completely shut down the request for a visual sweep. With the visible threat secured, the handler decided it was time to bring in the real hero of the night. They prepared to deploy their highly trained canine partner to sniff the perimeter. That kind of heavy bankroll traveling on the interstate usually points directly to a much darker, highly illegal operation. The brave four-legged detective did his job flawlessly, signaling a strong, undeniable alert on the exterior. The handler turned back to the suspect, his expression turning stone cold. Our partner just gave us the green light, so we are tearing this entire ride apart, the officer announced. He offered one last chance for honesty, asking if they were going to uncover any hidden contraband or illicit substances. Cornered and sweating, the suspect finally cracked, admitting there was some greenery stowed away. When pressed for an exact location, he vaguely confessed that the prohibited vegetation was somewhere inside the cabin. With the admission out in the open, the officer instructed him to sit tight. Moving inside, the overwhelming odor of raw botanical contraband hit the cops instantly, leading them to a cluster of suspiciously sealed bins. The overpowering stench practically radiated from those boxes, leaving the seasoned officers piecing together the true nature of this mobile distribution setup. Digging deeper, the source of the pungent aroma revealed itself. Concealed brilliantly beneath the floorboards, a massive stash of illicit flora had been sitting right under their noses the entire time. Heavily wrapped in twin layers of thick plastic, the colossal package had been cleverly inverted to dodge a quick visual inspection. The sheer audacity of the hiding spot left the patrolmen shaking their heads. The sheer weight of the illegal foliage was staggering, easily hovering between 8 to 16 ounces. The officer laid out the undeniable facts. The suspect was riding around heavily armed, carrying $3,000 in street money and transporting a massive amount of product. Coupled with the vacuum-sealed mountain of contraband, the situation had escalated far beyond a simple traffic stop. The commanding order echoed in the night air. Wrists behind your back. Immediately, the cold steel cuffs ratcheted shut with a heavy, definitive click. The driver was officially stripped of his freedom, his illicit journey abruptly terminated by the sharp instincts of a justice-seeking hound. Ultimately, the heroic canine's sharp nose led the squad to seize roughly 16 ounces of illegal street product. Factoring in the fat stack of bills, the loaded hardware, and the deeply concealed bins, it painted an undeniable portrait of a high-level distributor. The evidence practically screamed that this was no personal stash, but a fully operational commercial enterprise meant for the streets. With the dangerous suspect locked down and the hazards removed from the community, the tactical unit packed up the scene and prepared to transport the offender straight to booking. Later that shift, a totally different threat emerged on the blacktop. A reckless van was swerving dangerously over the dividing line, prompting the relentless pursuit of safety to initiate a sudden, high-stakes traffic stop. The uniformed officer approached the window, the afternoon sun casting a harsh glare. He bluntly informed the erratic driver about her dangerous drifting, probing to see if a medical emergency was triggering the careless maneuvering. The flustered woman offered a weak excuse about being completely disoriented. The patrolman immediately demanded her credentials, license, paperwork, and coverage, only to be met with the shocking revelation that she possessed absolutely zero identification. Claiming she had hastily rushed out of her house, she couldn't provide a single piece of plastic. The officer collected her verbal details, ordering her to stay completely still, while he retreated to the cruiser to dig into her background. The squad car's computer system lit up with red flags. Her driving privileges had been revoked across 3 separate jurisdictions. Between the non-existent license and the completely dead plates, the situation was spiraling fast. Taking that steel trap off the road was the only safe option left. The procedure required calling in a tow and conducting a highly thorough, step-by-step documentation of every single item left inside the cab. Standard protocol mandates this deep dive to protect the department from false claims. It completely shuts down any future accusations where suspects magically remember leaving $2,000 sitting on the passenger seat. Even if a massive wad of cash was truly present, a rock-solid log ensures absolute accountability for the transport driver and the department. While the unit operated with unshakable integrity, covering all bases is just smart, by-the-book police work. Returning to the driver's window, the officer's tone shifted to a commanding bark. He ordered the woman to kill the engine, pull the ignition key, and immediately step out. He demanded she drop the keychain directly onto the dashboard where he could see them. Once her hands were clear, she was instructed to step onto the pavement and leave all her belongings entirely untouched inside the cabin. Panic quickly set in as she aggressively demanded to know why she was being placed in cuffs. The backup officer firmly told her to comply with the exit orders first, promising a full breakdown of the charges once the area was secured. She continued to resist verbally, forcing the officers to assert their dominance and guide her toward the rear bumper. They made it crystal clear her freedom of movement was officially restricted. The harsh truth was laid out right there on the asphalt. She had absolutely no legal right to be operating a motor vehicle in the state. Her complete lack of credentials left her without a leg to stand on. Feigning sheer ignorance about her revoked status, she desperately tried to play the victim. The cops ignored the theatrical act, pivoting sharply to question if there were any high-ticket items abandoned inside the van. Desperate to hide her secrets, she pleaded for them to just lock the doors and walk away. But the law is the law. The unregistered metal box was destined for the city tow yard, with 0 exceptions. Thanks to the dead registration and her illegal status behind the wheel, the squad had full legal authority to rummage through the interior. A comprehensive, rapid-fire cataloging of the contents was about to commence. Before reaching under the seats, the patrolman issued a stern warning, demanding to know if any hidden needles or dangerous traps were lurking inside. The panicked suspect aggressively protested the sweep, desperate to keep their eyes out of her vehicle. Her objections fell on deaf ears. Department regulations were strictly non-negotiable, and the sweep was an absolute certainty. Suddenly, she tried to delay the process by begging for a hydration break, blatantly stalling for time. The seasoned cop saw right through the charade, offering her one final window to come clean. He urged her to confess right then and there if a mysterious acquaintance had conveniently forgotten something illegal in her ride. It was the absolute last chance to admit to a stray hypodermic needle, a forgotten baggie of greenery, or some scattered crystalline powder before the authorities stumbled upon the danger themselves. Sweating bullets, she aggressively denied any involvement with the underworld's chemical poisons. But words mean nothing to Canine Flex, the department's fearless furry crusader, uniquely hardwired to hunt down the invisible scent of dangerous powders, crushed crystals, and prohibited street plants. The majestic beast went straight to work, his incredibly sharp nose immediately locking onto an undeniable source of trouble near the floorboards. The handler passionately praised his heroic partner as the dog indicated a massive find. Tucked secretly in the shadows, directly behind the pilot's chair, the brilliant canine froze, his intense body language screaming that justice was about to be served. There was absolutely no pulling that dedicated animal away from the spot. The vigilant hound had zeroed in flawlessly on a suspicious handbag. Thanks to the fearless four-legged guardian's perfect instinct, the officers secured the undeniable legal right to tear that bag wide open and expose whatever darkness was hiding inside. All right where the canine alerted, we just uncovered a glass pipe, a stash of meth, and a plastic straw. So, at this point, she is officially in custody.
Oh my goodness, where am I going?
Ma'am, you are under arrest for the possession of Fawn crystal meth. Lord, what in the world? Wait, which bag was it even in? We found it inside the black and white handbag. The black and white one. The black and white bag right in there. You had it in your possession. Did you have any idea the narcotics were stashed inside your purse? That is not my purse. That is not mine. Which one are you talking about? Because I can tell you right now, she is heading to the county jail for maintaining a common nuisance, felony possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and operating a vehicle without ever receiving a valid license. We are wrapping up this scene for now. Moving on, we are initiating a traffic stop on this scooter for lacking a license plate, approaching Highway 78. Our current speed is roughly 35 to 37 miles per hour. The rider keeps gesturing ahead at something, but he refuses to pull over. We are coming up on the bridge right now, by the overpass. Still holding at 36 miles per hour. Sheriff's Office Canine Unit. If you attempt to flee from this vehicle, the dog will be released. Sheriff's Office Canine Unit. If you run from that scooter, my canine partner will bite you. Sheriff's Office. Office Canine. Do not run from the vehicle, or the brave dog will take you down. Dispatch, he is bailing. Hey man, pull the scooter over right now. Sheriff's Office, stop the bike. You are under arrest. He is doubling back toward the river. Fox is deployed. Here, Fox, right here, right here. Watch his hands. He is making a run for it. Go, Fox, go, go, go. Get on the ground immediately, or you are going to get bitten. Show me your hands. Drop to the ground. Fox, right here. Good boy. Stop right here. Here, Fox, hold him right here. Drop to the ground, now. All right, roll over onto your stomach. I am trying, please, man, please. Just hold on, please. I am begging you. Ah, man, I just have a serious drug problem. Now, as you can see, our heroic canine was deployed to apprehend the fleeing suspect. While we were chasing him through the dense woods, the suspect blatantly ignored every single lawful command and kept sprinting. We finally pushed out of that thick brush section, and as we were closing the distance on him, he actually looped around and attempted to double back into the trees, but we intercepted him right near the retention pond. Officer Fox performed a phenomenal job tonight. The criminal is heading straight to a jail cell, so that is a very good... Hey, listen to me, man. I am the deputy who attempted to pull you over back on Clark Street with the Sheriff's Office Canine Division. How are you feeling? I am holding up all right. Okay, well, look at it this way. You took a very minor traffic violation and escalated it into a massive situation for absolutely no reason. Do you understand that? You blew this completely out of proportion. Now you are facing charges for resisting a lawful arrest. You are getting slammed with fleeing and eluding, on top of whatever else you are hiding. After conducting a deeper investigation into the scene, we discovered the scooter had actually been reported stolen. Furthermore, it had a completely destroyed ignition and a mutilated vehicle identification number. It is obvious someone aggressively filed the numbers right off the metal. On top of all that, we recovered a glass meth pipe directly from his pockets. So, we are looking at roughly 5 separate felony and misdemeanor charges tonight. Ultimately, he is locked up, and thankfully, nobody sustained injuries. Moving to a new call, a teenager fled from his residence, and we received critical intel that he might be traveling alongside our primary district target of the month. This target is another juvenile dodging 5 active felony warrants. We were also warned that the suspect could be heavily armed. So, we are heading out to the scene to initiate a hard track and pinpoint these 2 individuals. Unit 5, show my canine deployed. Go get them, brave boy, you are on the scent. I knew he locked onto the trail. Good boy, Yox. Where did they go? Right up this ridge? Air support. Can you guide me through this brush? Where is he hiding, Yox? Right in this patch. Good boy. What is his name? Seek him out, buddy. Where is he at? Is that Russell? This underbrush is way too dense, brother. Cut to our right. Bank to the right. Yokes has the scent right here. Hey, what are you mumbling down there? Move 15 feet and get over here right now. Kevin, the courageous dog, will take you down, brother. Walk directly toward the sound of my voice. I have a visual on you. Raise both hands high in the air and slowly walk toward us so you do not get bitten. Do not even think about running. Step toward my position. We have a 10, 12. Suspect is complying. He is moving toward us, with his hands clearly visible. All right, Unit 5. We are going to need you to end him. Navigate us out of this thicket. Keep your head facing forward and spin around. Pull the suspect back. Keep him clear of the canine. Secure him away from the dog strike zone. Stand down. Yox, stay right here. Such a brave boy, Yox. Hold your position. You found the bad guy, you heroic dog. Come back here, Yox. Good boy. Air support executed a flawless operation, keeping a visual on the suspect from above, guiding our boots right to his hiding spot. Once we closed the gap, we issued loud, verbal commands, giving him a clear ultimatum to surrender immediately or face the canine's teeth. Overall, it was an incredibly successful track. Absolutely textbook. Man, that brush was impenetrable. Wait, that is not Russell. This is the suspect with 5 felony warrants. I honestly thought we were chasing Russell, the decoy. Oh, wow, it is Nico. Yeah, that is Nico. He is our primary high-value target. Take a look at this guy. He actually tried to outrun me on a previous shift, and I chased him down. He managed to slip away the very first time, but we just scored a massive capture. Yeah, all right. So this individual is our District 3 most wanted target. Honestly, this is exactly the fugitive our specialized task force was hunting down earlier today. He is dodging 5 serious felony warrants. meaning their primary objective for the night. Their entire operational mission was dedicated to tracking down this specific criminal because he has been on the run. We just received the critical update from the scene. The suspect had bailed out, sprinting directly away from the rear of the demolished vehicle. According to the initial witness, the unidentified young male suddenly broke into a full sprint, leaving behind the area where they had originally been standing together. They had both been using the thick woods near the waterway for cover, but the panicked fugitive abruptly abandoned his hiding spot and vanished into the darkness. We needed to coordinate our search immediately, shifting our focus toward the elevated embankment near the water, as navigating that rough terrain was his only available escape route. I released my canine partner to hunt the scent, and he tracked with relentless focus, dragging me through the brush until he cornered the target, giving me the tactical advantage to close in and order the suspect to immediately show me his empty hands. I commanded the individual to remain perfectly still while ensuring my backup kept a blinding tactical light secured on the threat, taking a brief moment to praise my fearless canine for his incredible bravery as the containment team arrived. The fugitive was completely camouflaged beneath a dense layer of thick vegetation, but he was no match for my loyal partner, marking his second flawless apprehension of the night. After the threat was secured, I offered my exhausted, heroic dog some much-needed water, feeling an intense surge of pride for the righteous and dangerous work we do.